So I wanted to come on here really quick and talk about some reservations that people have expressed to me when they are on the fence about doing an intensive. So I offer EMDR intensives, which range anywhere from like 4 hours to 10 hours to back days of 8 hour sessions, every other day of 4 hour sessions, once a month of 4 hour sessions or 6 hour sessions. And, one of the things that I get a lot from people who are on the fence, and this is like people who are legitimately interested and motivated in doing an intensive, their reservation is like, I don't have the time. Like, it's just like, that just sounds crazy to me that I'm going to spend 6 hours or 10 hours, just like talking or processing or doing EMDR, right? And and I take the time to try to explain to them what's actually going on, but I have to get beyond a person's initial shock that they feel about sitting somewhere for 4 hours. They're like, I can't possibly do that. Like, there's no way. Like, who does that, right? In which case, I often have to remind people about the fact that we spend hours and hours of our days that feel like, and I don't even want to say that they were a waste of time, but think about the amount of times that you have spent 4 hours doing something and you kind of don't even think about it, right? Like somebody says that this is going to be this thing and you just kind of accept it as is, right? You book a flight to Florida. I don't even want to say Florida. I don't know. Like you go to Europe or you're going to California and that's, I don't know, a 6 hour flight. And a lot of people are just like, oh yeah, it's a 6 hour flight. I'm going to California, right? They'll say, oh, I'm going to this concert, like a Taylor Swift, Bruce Springsteen, Grateful Dead, and these hours long shows, right? Because you're talking about the show, you're talking about parking, you're talking about tailgating, you're talking about shopping for merchandise, you're talking about bathroom lines, right? But people will just say, oh, I'm going to do this event. And when you break it down, it's like that might be a 6 hour day for you, right? Like that, and not including travel time. You're going to a sporting event. Oh, I'm going to the Super Bowl. And, the Super Bowl alone, I think, is 4 hours, right? So when you think about the amount of time that you have spent 4 hours doing something, you binge watched Ted Lasso or something, or 4 episodes of a show that you really enjoy. Dinner and a movie, a 2 hour movie, then you have dinner. You spend 4 hours doing that. Birthday parties. I know I've had 4 hour play dates where you just are like, that's just what happens, right? You don't necessarily go into it thinking this thing is going to be 4 hours. It just is. And some of that stuff is going to be an amazing, you can't even wait. In fact, some of you may be super excited, like that concert's going to be 3.5 hours. Like, oh my God, it's going to be so great, right? Like the game is so great. And then there's those activities that you did that you're like, I just 4 hours of my, like, I'm never going to get that time back. Like, that was a terrible movie. I just spent 4 hours of my life between the driving, the parking, the buying the popcorn, the ticket. Like I will never get that time back. Like, that was the worst movie I ever saw, right? Or that was the worst vacation that I ever went on, and yada, yada, yada. And yet somehow we don't think about the time, right? So what I try to say to people is, what's really going on? Is it you're using the time as a surface, thing, but what's really going on with you? And what I find is that most people just have this feeling of, I have to spend 4 hours revisiting awful, god awful, traumatic things. Like, no, thank you. I'm not signing up for that. There is this perception that you're just going to spend 4 hours crying, or you're just going to be, like reliving your triggers, or you're going to, have a panic attack and you're going to die. And I think that's the fear that is really showing up. And I will tell you, I would not do a 4 hour, 6 hour, 8 hour, 10 hour session with someone if I was going to watch them have a panic attack and die. If I was going to have them sit in my office and cry for 10 hours. Like, it just doesn't happen, right? But I understand that you've never done it. And so you don't really get testimonials because people don't really identify that they went to therapy, unless that's what they want to do, right? But most people don't really identify that I just did a 10 hour session and it was great. But most people will say, man, that time went by fast. Like, where did that time go? And the reason I even started doing intensives is because we couldn't even get some stuff done in 50 minutes, let alone 2 hours, and sometimes 3 hours. It was like, man, we just are really starting to uncover some stuff and I'm starting to feel good. But our time is up, right? And so that's part of why I started doing intensives in the first place, was because people were benefiting from it. I could see that people were really getting strengthened and healing and just like overall changing their lives in that amount of time. And so for me, I just wanted to put out there, I understand that that's a reservation. If that is what's stopping you from booking an intensive, please don't allow yourself to block yourself from transforming yourself and healing yourself. Because again, and I get it, like 4 hours is a long time. I know, I'm there with you, right? So it is a long time. However, I would say to you, how many hours have you spent in suffering? How many hours have you spent like in a closet or crying or being triggered or having a panic attack? Like how many hours, how many days, how many weeks, how many months, years of your life have you spent in suffering? And to give yourself the gift of a few hours, several hours, I'll give you, let's just even say days, right? Of working through that stuff, to me, is just priceless. And time, I always say this, is a non-renewable resource. You don't get that time back, right? You don't get that time back. And so why not choose to engage in something that, yes, may be challenging, but then you can spend the rest of your life, you can spend hours being able to better enjoy your life and having better quality time. So that was one of those things that I felt like I needed to bring up, because I have been hearing a lot of people who have been very interested in intensives, but it's this level of, well, I don't have the time. And really, it's not about the time. It's about your fear around the time. So I hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions, send me a DM, put a link, check out my link, all that good stuff, la 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 la. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.